I keep a lot of secrets. Everything's confidential, so I can't tell anybody anything about what is said or what happens in mediation. I also have to keep secrets between rooms. You can share things with me, but tell me not to tell the other side, and I have to keep that to myself. Hi, I'm Allie Moore. I'm an attorney, a mediator, and a parent coordinator, all at Cape Fear Family Law. I practice all across the state, and I can do mediations by Zoom. I mediate custody cases all the time. But if you're talking about the court-ordered custody mediation program, that is something different. The court-ordered custody mediation program takes place at the courthouse with mediators who are on staff with the courthouse. You're limited in time, usually only 2 hours, and you can only talk about custody. It is a free service, so that's a huge benefit, but you're still going to have to talk about the other issues. I am not a custody mediator, but I can mediate custody cases. People should choose mediation because it's the only way to keep control of your case in your hands. When you go to court and have a hearing, it's up to the judge to decide. You're trying to cram 10 years of a marriage into an hour, maybe a day. In mediation, you have plenty of time to voice your concerns, your frustrations. There's that emotional element, but also the practical. Mediation puts you back in control. With the court process, there are so many things you can't control, like your court date. It might be on your grandma's birthday and there's nothing you can do about it, or how much the other side makes you spend in attorney's fees responding to their emails. But in mediation, you control the offers you make and you control the offers you accept. Mediation is a time saver because you're knocking it out in one day. You're not waiting month after month to get on a court calendar. You get a day and you get it done. Mediation is a money saver. You may not want to pay the mediator fees, but when you think about all the money you're going to save in attorney's fees not going to court, it really is worth the investment. Mediation is mandatory in both custody and family financial cases. When a mediation starts, I'll go into one room first, give them the rules, give them a preview of how the day is going to go, and ask them to tell me their side of the story. Then, I'm going to go do the same thing in the other room. The best thing that you can do before mediation is be open-minded. If you come in with a one-track mind, you're not going to be able to solve your case. You got to think outside the box. Before mediation, you need to talk to your attorney. You need to make sure that they have all the information that they need from you to be prepared and come up with an agreement. So it's the night before mediation and you're wondering, what do I do? Go to bed, get some sleep because it's going to be a long day. Before that, talk to your attorney. Make sure they've got all the information that they need. Usually they already do and they're ready to go. But if it'll make you feel a little bit better, schedule that phone call. Make sure they've got everything they need. Make sure you bring something to keep your interest. Bring a book, bring a puzzle, bring your computer, bring whatever. Just make sure you've got something to pass the time with. Don't bring the new girlfriend or boyfriend to mediation. It is never helpful. Generally, you can't bring anyone to mediation but yourself. If you want to bring someone else, the other side has to agree, and I get the final say-so. If there's a third party that has some ownership interest in a piece of property or a business, it might be helpful to have them come to mediation. Make sure that you have childcare arrangements made all the way through the evening. I've been to mediation at 1 o'clock in the morning before. Make sure your kids are covered. Another thing you can do, hire a babysitter. Mediation can go well past normal business hours. Plan for your kids. You want to make sure that you've got someone to pick up your kids from school, feed them dinner, maybe even get them to bed, because you want to make sure we get this done. Even after an agreement is reached, we have to spend time drafting it and that takes time. When you show up for mediation, the first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to give you my spiel. I'm going to go over the rules of mediation. I'm going to tell you how the day is going to go, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me your side of the story. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll identify the issues in the case, and then we'll try to pin down your first offer. I'll go back and forth between the two rooms all day until we either reach an agreement, schedule a day to come back, or declare an impasse. Most of my clients do not want to see the other side when we go to mediation. Unfortunately, you might bump into them in the hallway. But during mediation, you'll be safe. You'll be in your own room with your own space and your own attorney, and I'll go back and forth between the two, so you don't ever have to see them if you don't want to. Zoom mediation is a great alternative when you don't want to see the other side. If there's domestic violence, either allegations or an order preventing contact, we can use Zoom. That way you never have to interact with the other party directly. Whether you've been accused of domestic violence or you're a victim of domestic violence, we can make sure both parties are safe during a Zoom mediation. So what are the rules of mediation? They're pretty easy. You have to try, everything's confidential, and you have to pay the mediator. The worst part of mediation is the waiting and the wondering. I can only be in one room at one time. I gotta start somewhere. So I'm gonna start in one room, give them the rules, go over the day, hear their side of the story, and hear what they wanna offer. Then I'm gonna come to your room and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm here for both parties. My favorite part about mediation is I finally get to hear both sides of the story. As an attorney, I usually only get to hear my client's side. And as we all know, there's 3 sides to every story. Mine, yours, and the truth. In mediation, I get to hear both sides. I get to know what's important to both people. And I can find ways to help them bridge the gap and get a resolution that makes both parties satisfied. Time for some good news. You're splitting the cost of mediation right down the middle. Each of you is going to pay 1/2 of a one-time setup fee and an hourly fee for every hour we're in mediation. You want to keep it cheap? Make quick decisions. There's only 2 ways to schedule a mediation with a certified mediator. The first way is for you and the other side to agree to use me as a mediator. The second is for me to be appointed by the court because you can't agree. Scheduling could not be easier. When you reach out, I'll send you a link, you have access to my calendar, and you can go ahead and book a day. Mediations can end a few different ways. The first way is with an agreement. That's our goal. We want to get an agreement in every single mediation. If that's not possible, we might agree to reschedule. That's called a recess. Sometimes we just need to take a break or gather some more information, so we'll go ahead and pick another day to come back. Another way that mediation ends is with an impasse. That means that we have worked as hard as we can and exhausted all of the options for settlement, and we just can't reach an agreement. That means your case is going to have to go to court. Mediation can be a great way to solve the cases that everybody thinks are doomed and have to go to court. The number one reason mediation is so successful is because of confidentiality. You cannot talk about the offers that were made in mediation at court. So mediation is your chance to make that one-time super great offer that you wouldn't make any other time and try to get it resolved. If you don't get to talk to your attorney before mediation, that's okay too. I can start in the other room to give you time to have that conversation. Sometimes you don't even need to talk to your attorney before mediation because they know your case so well and are so ready, you don't need that extra meeting. Listen, I can be your attorney or your mediator, but I can't be both. Attorneys and mediators have 2 very different roles. As your attorney, I am fighting for you. I am helping you get a settlement that's in your best interest. As a mediator, I'm helping both of you and the other side. So other issues that frequently come up in custody cases are child support, but we also have to talk about alimony or spousal support and equitable distribution. Because if there's a house involved, who's going to stay in the house and how does that impact the kids? People hire me to mediate custody cases because they want to talk about all of the issues. And they want to have a whole day, sometimes a second day, to really work through things, rather than having to cram it all into 2 hours. I offer for people to schedule either a half-day mediation or a whole-day mediation. Half days can be great. It can make people focus and knock everything out real quick. Or we might start with a half day and quickly realize we need to reschedule to get it all in. How long you need for mediation really depends on how many things you need to talk about. A half-day mediation may be perfect if there's only 1 or 2 small issues that you need to resolve and you don't want to go to court to fight over it. A full-day mediation might be needed if you've got a lot of issues to talk about. Confidentiality is the cornerstone of mediation. People are sometimes scared to make offers because they don't want it to be held against them in court. Good news is it can't be. My job is to keep your secrets. Attorneys pick me as a mediator because they know that I care about an outcome. Some attorneys like to make really strong offers coming out of the gate. Other attorneys like to cut to the chase. I've worked with all different styles, and I know how to work with both of them at the same time in 2 different rooms. I am dedicated to helping you resolve your case. Attorneys work hard. They put a lot of time and effort into preparing and advocating for you to reach an outcome that's in your best interest.